easily controllable, and it needs to be easily controllable as well, because I don't have much time. I'm a very busy person, so I have to have everything just as I need it. Well, they should be sort of fairly modern in design, and they've got to be easily turn off and onable.
For all your creature comforts, Heat Electric.
Hello and welcome to today's quick video. I did find is this brochure, which was actually left in this house. It was stuffed behind something or stuffed in somewhere. I can't remember where. I think it may have been in the loft. But this dates from 1992 and it is a Creda brochure for Creda products. So certainly back in the 80s and early 90s there was this big drive for Heat Electric, and there was sort of a real big sort of thing of trying to move away from gas and move to electric heating, with things such as storage heaters, economy 7, all of that sort of stuff. It was relatively short-lived, but you know, it was a thing for some time. So this brochure actually just sort of highlights some of the items that you could have bought at the time to heat your home, with some rather nice period photographs and sets from the early 90s. Storage heaters do still seem to be around today. They have come on an awful lot, and with this the advent of affordable electric transportation, the economy 7 tariffs are once again becoming popular, especially for people who have electric cars, which is quite interesting. So this is, that's the weather temperature versus stored heat for, what's that, December 1983. Well, given that this graph is from 83 and this brochure is from 1992, it does seem to be sort of a little out of date. And more information. So this one looks like a sensor model, which means that the input was actually controlled by the ambient temperature. So if the house was fairly warm, I would assume it would be using less electricity. So they did exist back then, and so I thought that was a relatively recent thing. But no, those economy 7 storage heaters with input sensors actually did exist back then. The one that was fitted in this particular house was the Slimline Plus range, and we had quite a large one, which has now been quite a large set of heaters, which have now been replaced with radiators. And it had the same groundbreaking technology as the Automatic Sensor Plus, but with manual controllability, as in the brand new TSR Slimline Plus, an advanced storage heater offering high performance and a highly stylish appearance. It, like all storage heaters I've had, it was fantastic first thing in the morning. Even if you have all of the vents closed on the unit, it just got very cold in the evening, and there was no heat left. The other disadvantage is the water tank that we had wasn't exactly very large. You'd be able to get a couple of baths out of it, and that was that. And that was just something that we lived with for quite a few years, as we've been in this property now for 10 years. And I just turned around this year and thought, do you know what? This storage heater needs to be replaced. May as well do the whole lot. The storage heater itself was actually nearly 30 years old, It's about 28, 29 years old, and all of the insulation material inside of it literally just disintegrated, and a lot of the bricks crumbled when they were removed. So this one is Creda's double option, apparently. An advanced storage heater with a powerful convector heater with thermostatic control operated independently in one elegant unit. The ideal heating for those who want the best of both worlds: low cost storage and flexible convected heat. The combi can provide enhanced comfort levels in large living areas, as well as take the chill off those spring to autumn evenings and mornings when storage heating is not generally required. Yet another ideal option to consider as part of the living heat system. So that obviously has a built-in fan heater as well. Personally, I think these ones are probably sort of the best option, because you do have the storage facility, but you also have the instant heat facility as well. So I'd like to think that these are probably the best options, probably the best ones to go for. Then we had the SFH Combi Turbo, an extra boost in comfort apparently. What's the difference with that? Oh, it's fan assisted. It has, yeah, so it's got a fan heater, 2 quiet fans, integral electronic thermostat, the slimmest heater of its type with a superb appearance that matches other Creda heaters, only 6 inches deep, and yeah, not really much apart from that, to be honest with you. Extra control economy, that's the TSF Turbo. The names that they come up with. So that's another fan assisted one by the looks of it. Optional wall mounted thermostat. Oh, that's cool. So optional wall mounted thermostat to automatically control heat output. So well, these things could be quite intelligent. So that's pretty good. It doesn't seem that many people went for the really intelligent solutions though. Also got these plinth mounted fan heaters for kitchens, which you still can see sort of these days in some houses. Wall mounted fan heaters, obviously. Choice of 1 or 2 kilowatt outputs, which is nice. What else did they offer? Oh, these weird little panel heaters. Tended to see those in a lot of early 90s new builds, where they had economy 7, so they actually had they didn't have gas. There were certain parts of Bristol, Stoke Gifford being one of them, where new build properties didn't actually have gas. So in the upstairs of the property you had these type of heaters, which were just sort of standard timer heaters, and then downstairs you had an economy 7 heater, so a standard storage heater, sorry, which actually had an additional circuit going to it, so you could actually activate it during the evening. So it would store the heat overnight, but then you could activate it during the evening to get a bit of extra heat out of it. And because these houses were built in the early 90s, they were incredibly well insulated, so the system actually worked really well in that particular environment. Plus the water tank, quite a large tank, but it had 2 immersions. So you had one immersion at the bottom of the tank which would heat up the water overnight, and then you had another immersion in the top of the tank which would heat up the top half of the tank to provide you with a quick burst of hot water. In that particular house it actually worked very well. This is something that you don't see anymore: air heating. So this was the air manager, and you used to see these in houses, certain high-end houses built in the 1970s. So this was a heat recovery ventilation unit. The central feature of a system to redistribute air throughout the home, providing totally controlled, balanced ventilation. Apparently it extracts the stale, moist air that you've already paid to heat, typically from the kitchen, bathroom and toilet, and exchanges up to 80% of its heat into the incoming fresh air. This fresh pre-warmed air is in turn transferred to the living room and bedrooms by ducting. That is interesting. Giving you warmed fresh air with minimum heat loss, and compared to the cost of opening your windows, it's a clever way to manage your outgoings too. The air manager can be located above a special cooker hood in the kitchen or the loft. The special hoods are available in brown or white to match kitchen door schemes. Okay. So that's your air manager. Cool stale air out, cool fresh air in, warm stale air in, warm fresh air out. Okay. So it's eliminate condensation and decay problems that can occur from lack of air movement in well insulated and draft proofed homes to conserve energy. So I don't think it actually heats the air. It just mixes the air with fresh air and pumps it around the house. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, look at that. So you could actually, back then, get different decorative panels for the front of your storage heater. And these were the options. Lots of pastel shades, which is in keeping with the era, I guess. And this is the one that we had in this particular property. It was a strange setup because we had one storage heater located in the hallway, even though it's a 3/4 bedroom house. But then we had gas fires in the front and back room, and the gas fire in the conservatory. And because it's a mid-terrace, you get a lot of heat from other houses leaching in, or leaking in rather. So it never actually really gets truly cold. But that heater did use a lot of energy, and because the house isn't particularly well insulated, it was pretty much cold by the evening. So glad to get rid of it, to be honest with you. There's some of the other specs for these other heaters. All sort of very early 90s tech. Incidentally, when disposing of the heater, the storage heater, all Creda storage heaters are asbestos free rather, from 1974 onwards. So if you do have to take a newer storage heater, certainly a Creda storage heater, to the dump, they should have a list of storage heaters which they can accept. And if they don't accept them, you can say, well, as in my case, I had to not argue the case, I just had to sort of say, well, this storage heater was actually made after 1974. As you can see, it's date marked 1991 on the back of it. Creda storage heaters are are asbestos free after 1974. So after a quick look up on a chart that they had down the dump, I was able to dispose of it in a normal way. And that's the end of that. It's not the most interesting of brochures, but it's just a nice little time capsule into a period of time when this sort of thing was quite popular. Anyway, that's the end of that. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Take care.